Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Leah and I do videos on YouTube about anything paper, I guess, planning, art, and for the first time I'm bringing you some books. So I was really inspired by Kat from Peace Love Plan. She has brought her booktube into her planning YouTube, and I've just found it so fascinating. I've never even heard of booktube. Why I've not heard of it, I don't know. I've been on YouTube for years. Anyway, I was completely enthralled, and she did a video recently, which I'll link down below, which was and it was a Pride video, and it was about the books that she's read that would be good for Pride, but in particular it was around Heartstopper. So I think the video is titled something like, if you liked Heartstopper, you'll like these books. And I think she's been inspired from other booktubers. Anyway, I have seen the Heartstopper Netflix series, loved it. I mean, who doesn't love that series? It's absolutely beautiful. And I hadn't realised that it was from a graphic novel by Alice Oseman. And wow, I was so excited to get the first volume. Especially after the video from Kat, where she said, go and get it if you haven't. So I was like, you know what, you have influenced me. I'm going to go and buy it. So I did. So I thought I would go through what I bought alongside it. Sorry, by the way, I keep having to stop because I have hay fever, really bad at the moment. Anyway, so when I bought this book, I bought two others. These were not recommended by Kat. I just wanted something that wasn't just two boys. I wanted to try other things as well as part of the LGBTQIA plus community. So we have Heartstopper, which is a coming of age story where two boys fall in love. You have The Girl from the Sea, which is more of a sapphic graphic novel. They're all graphic novels, I should say. And this is again, they're all coming of age, sort of coming, these two are coming of age, and they've called this a coming of gender story. And this Kisses for Jet is more of a trans one, and I have read them. I read them in like 30 minutes, really quickly, and I will tell you my thoughts. So I will start with, this wasn't what I was going to do for this video, by the way. I ought to say, this definitely wasn't the direction I was going to go. I was just going to show you what I bought and then do reviews after, but I just read the books really quickly. So let's talk about Heartstopper. This is volume 1. I believe this is up to a certain point that I've seen all of the Netflix series that there is, just the first series, and this only meets like half of it, maybe even a third. So there's bits that are missing. However, I sort of tried to forget the series and go back to this, but it's really difficult because the series is so close to this book. So I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't read Heartstopper. I would say go and read this first because it's so easy to get through. How Alice Oseman manages to create these characters in a visual way with barely any words, actually, and for you to immediately fall in love with them, I just don't know. That is talent. So maybe I should talk about graphic novels. So if you don't know what a graphic novel is, I guess it's quite kind of obvious, but just in case, because it hadn't occurred to me that I've been reading them all my life. Okay, so a graphic novel is a story told with very detailed character illustrations. And it's not like a kid's book in the sense that you've got like words and then illustration, but it sort of gives you that vibe that you can follow the story through the illustrations without the words. The way that Alice Oseman has done this is just perfect. The illustrations are so beautiful. The way she captures the way that they look at each other. You can literally feel the tension between these two boys just in like... I'll show you something. Actually, let me just find something because this is perfect. I was like, I just can't believe that this is something that they would do. And I got it. Where is it? Like she didn't even use words. Let me find it. Here, for example, there's like these little icons. How cute is that? Like, it's just amazing how she's done it. It's so incredible. So I grew up like reading Snoopy and Garfield and Calvin and Hobbes and All Woolly and the Bruins, which are Scottish sort of comic book annuals I used to read. I mean, Beano Dandy, that's the same sort of thing, but obviously that's a lot more short stories, but they're still stories nonetheless. And I was obsessed with them up until like I was a teenager. Very much, even like Asterix and Obelix. Do you remember those crazy French Viking type things? That's that's not right, is it? Because French are not Vikings. Anyway, you know what I mean. If you've ever, shout out to Asterix and Obelix. So I used to read all those sort of graphic novels, comic book novels, that sort of thing. So this just was right up my alley. So let me just read out the blurb from here. So this is the first volume. Charlie and Nick are at the same school, but they've never met until one day when they're made to sit together. They quickly become friends, and soon Charlie is falling hard for Nick, even though he doesn't think he has a chance. But love works in surprising ways, and Nick is more interested in Charlie than either of them realised. I think as part of the LGBTQIA plus community, somebody who, you know, at school for me, Section 28 was still around, which meant that they couldn't talk about gay at school. It wasn't until 2002. So like a lot of people maybe who are even on YouTube now, it just wasn't spoken about. So it was very much hidden away. And even though being gay was legal, you weren't allowed to talk about it. The teachers weren't allowed to teach about it. And it left a lot of people very confused and not able to come out and scared to come out. I didn't know anything. I was so naive. And the funny thing is my mum was like part of the gay rights movement back in the 70s, but I was naive. I just didn't know anything. And it wasn't until I met a girl who said she was bisexual, and I was like, what is this? This is amazing. Like, I knew I'd had feelings for girls and boys, and it was just, for me, it was just like, wow. So it was just incredible to know that I wasn't alone, that I hadn't had these feelings alone. And it wasn't like my parents had made me feel like I couldn't be, but they were, you know, very similar to the mother in this story for Nick, like way more switched on than maybe other parents. So absolutely loved this book. The character development is incredible. I don't know how they've done it. I mean, everybody wants to have that relationship, and I actually think I do. I think I'm very much Charlie, and Nick is my partner. So like, I think there is that, you can really identify with one of those characters. I'm less awkward, but I'm more like, I just can't believe that my partner loves me. Like, in some time, I mean, I do know that because I love her very much. But, you know, sometimes you just think, I can't believe this is actually happening. What a wonderful person that I've met. Like, she's just so amazing. And I feel like that's why I identified with it so well. This is definitely, for me, a 5-star. And I can't wait to read the next volume. And, you know, hopefully they have another series come out. I think this is so beautiful as well. Like, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I want to just print it out. Oh, by the way, there's like ink on here. That's something that happened. I don't know how it happened, but yeah, just stunning. Absolutely love everything about this book. I'm so happy. So the next one I read, oh, you know, following such a good one, was Kisses for Jet. Wow, this was chaotic. So Kisses for Jet is a coming of gender story. It's about Jet, who is, at the first time we meet them, they are female, and they were female assigned at birth, essentially, let's see if it says anything on the back. Yeah, it's 1999. Jet has been dumped in a boarding house. So it started in 1992, and I was a teenager at that time. Well, I was 11 in 1992, so this is all very my era. I think Jet's a little bit older than me, so this is before, you know, the internet really took off. So it's really interesting about how this happened. So it says it's 1999 and Jet has been dumped in a boarding house full of out of control students. Jet can't help but feel something isn't quite right. And the reason Jet is in that house full of out of control students is because his parents have to go away and do something, not because of Jet. It sounds like Jet's done something bad. Jet hasn't. Jet can't help but feel something isn't quite right, and it's not just the weird drama, sinister stuff, or the looming Y2K apocalypse. Something really weird about this. Drifting away from everything that teenage girls seem to be interested in, Jet slowly realises that they may be more of a boy than the girl everyone says they should be. But who can they turn to when nobody else seems to be having the same problems? Trans creator Trans creator Joris Bass-Backer presents an enlightening, hilarious and emotional look at what it is like to be both a teenager and transgender before the internet age. Right, now there's a couple of people who said they really liked it. It's just, I don't get it. So I might give a few spoilers in this because I wrote a review for Goodreads as soon as I read it because I just felt like I had to say something. So let's start with the positives. Beautiful book. I actually really love the sort of 90s comic strip vibe. I loved that it was based in the 90s. There's a mixtape at the back that has all 90 songs. You know, it was really my era. This is so good in terms of reminiscing. However, I thought that maybe at first, because there was so much chopping and changing, I thought it was because it was translated. But actually the story, I mean, the pictures say it all. It was chaotic. There was lost plots all over the place. So Jet, I'm going to talk about a few things. I'm just going to get my computer up because it's got some notes, because I literally wrote them down straight away because I just genuinely can't believe how chaotic it was, and there was just so much missing. So it's normally you can get like, you can read between the lines and they might not have any of the plot in there. You might be able to get somewhere. Do you know what I mean? But this was hilarious. So hold on. Right, let me just I have to read my review because I think it says it pretty. I think it says what I really think. Right, so I mean, so I put, okay, so I ought to give a bit of a trigger warning at this point because I'm going to mention self-harm, body image, body dysmorphia, mental health and postpartum depression. So they're going to come up now. So if you want to, I would say maybe wait 5 minutes. In fact, I'll put a timestamp down below when it does change so you can just go straight to it. Okay. So it's obvious that Jet is confused, right? Jet doesn't know what they're feeling. They're having issues around, you know, how they feel, what's out there, the fact that they obviously don't identify with themselves. And they've said something like, do you ever feel like you're, and I thought the opening was really good, do you ever feel like you're, you know, when you're missing home and you're not really home, it's like that. They said it's not really your home, like you've moved somewhere, it's not really your home. And that's what they compared it to, like something isn't quite right, something's changed. And I thought that was really good. However, there's so many stories, there's no real direction over them. So firstly, so Jet has a best friend, Sasha, who is here. And I don't understand that relationship. Like, I couldn't work out at first if Sasha fancied Jet. I also could, and she kept scratching. Like, it was an ongoing thing. Now, it doesn't mention why anywhere. Like, was she self-harming? Does she have eczema? Is it awkwardness? Does she fancy Jet? I genuinely couldn't work it out. She's meant to be Jet's best friend, and I didn't feel like she was that great of a friend until maybe the end. She's really self-loathing. She's self-deprecating. There's a lot of... her mum called her fat, and she was like, oh my God, I'm fat as well. This is just ridiculous. Like, but then we were all self-deprecating as a teenager, right? We were all self-loathing. So I get that. It identified that they became friends because they both like Nirvana, and they got upset after Kurt Cobain died. And she kind of said that Jet looked like Kurt Cobain, and that was sort of the start of the whole thing. I just don't get Sasha. I don't really get it. Like, it just never went anywhere. Like, she kissed somebody at a party, and I just couldn't tell. I just got really annoyed when Jet didn't notice that her hair was different. I just found it dead weird. Okay, so the story goes on. So you start off with sort of with their friendship, and then it gets to 1999, and Jet's dad and mum. Jet has alluded to the fact that his parents are really strict. Their parents are really strict, and that that they're not allowed to do things. And then, like, you get to a point where you're with their parents, and like the dad seems really kind and generous, so I couldn't work it out. And then the dad says something about his mum having postpartum depression, and it just got. I was like, but what's that got to do with anything? Like, yeah, okay, what does it mean? Like, there was just a mention of it, and then they were talking about the mum having an issue with the Y2K bug, and she's going to go and sort it out, and that's why Jet has to go to this boarding place. I don't understand. So Jet, even my review's chaotic. So anyway, there's no explanation, like there's no sort of interaction between Jet and their mother. You see, there's a scene where the mother's like underneath the house. I don't get it. It's so odd. At the school, there's like a really demon hen. It's not a school, it's like the boarding place. There's like they're calling it a head teacher, but it isn't. It's the person who runs the thing. They are quite mean. And then there's another really relaxed teacher who they go to, who's sort of like the dean. And there's oh God, it's so confusing. So the head teacher, there's a bit in the plot where the head teacher is, somebody's talking about them stealing food, and that there's a conspiracy about why, that maybe that she's hiding something. And then at the end, they just mention that the teacher's disappeared. Like, that's it. There's no explanation. And this could have been a really good, amazing, like, subplot going on in the background, that there's this, like, really demon head teacher that's really making everything difficult. But that just went nowhere. Nothing happened. And then there's, like, the relationship between Jet and the father. They seem close. And there was a bit of reading between the lines. I don't know whether that's just me. Oh, God, there's a musical number in this as well. It's so chaotic. Reading between the lines, it suggests that maybe because they were close and the mum was not, that maybe Jet was identifying with the stronger character in their lives. Like, that's where, and I don't know whether that was the image of what we were meant to get, but I was searching for something. So bizarre. Anyway, so I realised that this is like a lot just to be staring at a book and listening to my voice. So in a way, this is quite good if you just want to go and do something. You just want to listen to me jabber on. So Jet, there was at this, like, what have they called it? This boarding for unruly, out of control students here. They actually called it like international students, so I don't even know. There was like a bit of a bad boy who was terrorising people, who kisses Jet at a party and then fancies someone else. That didn't go anywhere. I don't even know what happened to them. They just they were there and then they went. Lost a necklace, Jet kept it. I mean, I don't really get it. There was a bit, and Jet ended up going to like having Jet. Oh yeah, that's right. Lost the necklace, and then Jet got done by the police. But then there was no mention of this other guy. Like, he was going to beat him up, but that didn't happen. So it's really weird, very strange. And then another boy joined the school, and there was a little bit of a kissing thing. This is where this scene comes from, and Jet freaked out because the boy touched their breasts, and that was a bit too freaky for them because it was breasts, and I think that just like freaked them out. Sorry, children just decided they wanted to come down and talk to me. And then there was a moment where this Renee, who leads the house, actually no, let's go back a bit. This bad boy actually beat up somebody for having a cell phone, but then the person that he beat up just sort of disappeared after the head teacher talked to them. Again, went nowhere, nothing happened. And then Rene, the house leader, was being reprimanded. So basically Rene's like this really relaxed guy, lets them do anything like smoke and do whatever while the head teacher's gone off wherever they've gone. And then they went knocking on his door because something was happening, and he came in his dressing gown, and the head teacher was told, and the head teacher was trying to get rid of him because he came down in a dressing gown. And that again went nowhere. It just didn't go. And then this Rene was friends with an art teacher who Jet sort of liked and really liked doing art. So I thought, oh, this is going to be interesting. They're really into art. We're going to like get something about that. Went to an art class. The teacher, who's an art teacher, was obviously a lesbian, invited Jet to do something after the class, and Jet freaked out and ran away. That was it. Again, there was nothing after that. There was no talk of art. There was no talk of like lesbians, nothing. I don't know. There was, honestly, it felt like a conscious stream of, or a subconscious stream of nothingness. Like there was no plot. And, oh yeah, and then they went to this doctor. So Sasha had watched a programme about a trans person, and it all sort of made sense for Sasha, and explained it to Jet, and then Jet went to this doctor's instead of going to get a tattoo, which again was really weird. Jet went to the doctor's, and the doctor started doing a musical about transgender, how to become a transgender male. And the operations that they would have. It's really weird. Anyway, so I gave it a 2-star, mainly because I really liked some of the illustrations. I like how it's literally just blue, black and white. I actually really enjoy that sort of monochromatic way of doing it. I thought some of the illustrations were really nice. I mean, I'll pick a random page. It's just nice. Like it. So, I mean, that page, there's nothing on it. There's literally this. Look, this is the teacher taking some food out. That was it. That's all you got. I don't know what happened. There's the phone stealing thing. I, again, don't know what happened. So, all very bizarre. Are they going to make a TV series about it? Probably not, I'll be honest. Nothing really. It doesn't go anywhere. And it could have been so good. Like, if Joris had decided to break this down into like a few different books and have like proper plots all the way through, I think this could have been really, really good. A coming of gender story in the 90s. Absolutely amazing. Nostalgia is big. I mean, like I said, look at this. The Kisses for Jet, the album. Like, Weeks, Skunk Nancy was, just amazing. I just love a Basket Case. All of these are so good. What a great mixtape, but that was about all that I enjoyed, was that mixtape at the end. I just didn't really get the rest of it. Gutting, because it felt like there was a really good transgender graphic novel, and it just wasn't. Okay, so the third book, The Girl from the Sea. Now, this was great. So, Molly Knox Ostertag, just nailed it with this. It's colour, it's all the way through colour. Everything's so perfect. The flow of the book was really good. There's love, there's friendships, there's, it's just lovely. So this is Morgan and this is Elkie. Kelty, she calls herself. And I'll read you the blurb because it makes sense. So 15-year-old Morgan has a secret. She can't wait to escape this perfect little island where she lives. She's desperate to finish high school and get as far away as possible from her sad divorced mum, her volatile little brother and her group of best friends who don't actually know Morgan at all, because really Morgan's biggest secret is that she has a lot of secrets, including the one about wanting to kiss girls. Oh. Then one night Morgan is saved from drowning by a mysterious girl named Kelty. Suddenly, life on the island doesn't feel so stifling anymore, but Kelty has some secrets of her own, and as the girls start to fall in love, everything they've been hiding will find its way to the surface, whether Morgan is ready or not. And what I love about this is, like, anybody could read this, any age. It's really beautifully done. It covers so many things from, family breakups, not having enough time with each other, secrets, having that compartmentalizing stuff. It was just beautiful, and I loved the characters. Like, Kelty is me, 100%. She is so, like, she's even just like a little bit chubby. And what I love about this is Molly. She even shows you some of the alternate covers and stuff in here. You know, this is love and love lost and coming out, and it's honestly beautiful. Look at her, she's chubby. I love it. I just love this book. And unfortunately, you can see again the ink. I don't know where it came from. I'm gutted that it's on here, but and also as I was reading it, the spine came away here, so I'm a bit gutted by that as well. So I'd like to try and fix it. I don't know how, but yeah, I don't know. But this is a great book. This, I think, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because I don't want to give any of the plot away, but it's just got such a good pace. It's got really good flow. It's definitely not just, I would say this is for teenagers and upwards. It's just so innocent and lovely, and it could easily be made into some sort of like TV series just as well. I just thought it was so beautiful. And the illustrations are just divine. I love how they get the story as well, the backstory, by using text messages. And even the flow of the text messages is like having a conversation with your friends. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I'm excited to see more from Molly Knox Ostertag. I'm going to go and have a look and see what else she's got. But this is a 5-star for me. I thought it was great. And I'm so pleased that I managed to find something that I liked equally to Heartstopper. Is it as beautiful and touching and charming? No, it's a bit younger, I think. So it's really good if you want to, I don't know, maybe it's really good for maybe the younger generation. I'm talking like 13, 14, 15. Like, I think they would absolutely be able to read this and identify themselves with their friends, because this is a 15-year-old girl. And it's about like parental breakups and stuff like that. And there was just so much. And just even similarly to Heartstopper, for me, you had the expression, and without any words, you could see just how they fell for each other. I loved it. I thought this was probably as close to Heartstopper with girls as it could be. So yeah, I'm so happy that I managed to get this. I don't think this is a series. I think it's a one-off, which it makes sense. Although they could do like a follow-up, a sequel. I think that would be quite cool. But it's really good. You know, it's a tale as old as time, really, for this one, you know. So although I haven't really given much away, I don't want to. I think it's really important that you give this a go. And it's just everything. The cover is so beautiful. All of the illustrations are just so lovely. It's just so nice. I absolutely rated this one. As I've said, 5-star. That's 10. 5-star. So that's my first ever BookTube book review. I've probably had things out of shot. Yeah, I have. Oh well. Thank you so much for joining me and just spending some time with me, even though it was my hands. I'm not quite ready to come back on screen yet. I just find this a lot easier to get it out there and have a little chat with you. Let me know what you think. If you've got any comments, or if you've got anything you want to add about any of these books, let me know, and please comment down below. I will be putting my wish list so you can see what books I am looking for. I'll also put my Goodreads down below, because I think that's really important. It's really nice to see what other people are reading that, you know, have similar interests in you, as you. If you haven't subscribed and you would like to, I will probably do some more book content, because I'm reading a lot more. So let me know if there's anything that you would like to see, and yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. I've already said that, but if you do, it would really make my day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.